So my name is Serena Sanborn. I work for Waterville Creates. I'm the education and outreach manager. Every time I have to think the words order of that for some reason. But I'm thrilled you're here for SLICE. So SLICE stands for Students Learning Innovative and Creative Endeavors. And it's one of our favorite collaborative programs that's a free program for youth. And we absolutely love to share art and other things with students. So can you guys see us at the alt school? So we can't see you, Jessica, just like before, it's a webinar, but I can unmute you all once we get to the portion where we might want to share. So, which would be nice. But Jessica, you're welcome to send me photos also. I can always share them with our panelists. Let's see, anything else? I'm going to just turn it over to Chris Bergquist from Colby College Museum of Art. And she's one of my favorite people to collaborate with. And so Chris, you go for it.
Thanks, Serena. So it's so nice to have all of you here. I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen and start the PowerPoint that I've got, because we're going to look at some really great art today. So there we go. So as Serena said, my name's Chris Bergquist. I work at the Colby College Museum of Art, which is situated in the ancestral homeland of the Wabanaki. I do use she, her as my personal pronouns. And just want to say welcome so much for being here today. I'm here to talk a little bit about art, and then I'm actually going to hand things over to some terrific people at Maine Inside Out. We're going to talk about social justice and art. And so in my job at the museum, what I do is I lead this great education and engagement team. And what that means is I get to create programs and resources for audiences of all ages. And I get to work with lots of campus partners and community partners like Waterville Creates. And the whole thing is really all about figuring out how to connect people with art. And so for that, I'm actually going to start off with all of us for a big question. Why do people make art? And if you want to put some thoughts in the chat, that would be great. Self-expression, I see. Yeah. To express themselves. Yeah. To connect with each other. A form of self-expression. Meditation and calmness. Yeah. Please feel free to keep going. Happiness. Here's kind of a, sorry, I think it's going to skip forward here. There we go. So lots of different reasons. So we've got, they might want to tell a story. They might want to make people stop and think, entertain, persuade someone of an idea, honor a person. All of these things are part of what inspires an artist to create art. And you know, when you have that work of art, it's never inspired by just one thing. It's usually like multiple things that are happening. And so I just want to, what we're going to do today is look at some works of art by an artist who inspired this program. And his name is Bob Thompson. This is the exhibition, how it looks in the museum. It's called Bob Thompson, This House is Mine. And it features works by this artist named Bob Thompson. So who is Bob Thompson? Well, Bob Thompson was born in 1937 in Louisville, Kentucky. His father died when he was pretty young. He was only 13. And so he actually ended up spending, living a lot of time with his sister and her husband. And her husband happened to be a cartographer, so somebody who designs maps. And he saw how much that Bob Thompson just had a lot of skills with painting and really seemed to enjoy it. And he encouraged them to keep going as an artist. And so that's exactly what he did. He ended up graduating from college with a degree in fine arts. He took painting classes. He lived in New York for a while with a lot of different, works with a lot of different artists and jazz musicians. And then in the early 60s, when he was in his early 20s, he moved to Europe with his wife, Carol. And he basically became kind of like an expatriate, which is like a fancy way of saying an American who lives abroad. And he worked in England and France and Spain and then Italy. Tragically, he died pretty young. He was only 28 when he died, but he left the world with a lot of amazing works of art. And even though he's not an artist that a lot of people necessarily know a lot about or that you see a lot in museums, there are other artists who have always been super inspired by Bob Thompson because he's just got this really original way of he took a lot of things from like European and ancient art and he kind of created his own visual language. And also the fact that he was a Black man living in the civil rights and an artist, all of that kind of came together and is also infused in his paintings. So I'm going to move forward and let's look at a few and think about kind of what inspired him. So this is a really huge work of art. It's called Garden of Music and it's in the museum and it's really great in our space. When you come to visit the exhibition, we actually play jazz music in that space because all of these figures in here, actually a lot of them represent people that Bob Thompson hung out with at the Five Spot Cafe in New York City. So Ornette Coleman and Sonny Rollins and there's some images of John Coltrane in here too. So Bob Thompson was really interested in kind of honoring these people that he really admired and that was friends with. And also kind of in a way, I don't know if you can kind of tell, there's sort of a little bit, the way he used colors, there's kind of a visual rhythm that he's creating with the dot, 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 dot in the back and the trees and the pop, 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 pop. So it's actually creating kind of an interesting rhythm. And you see that in a lot of his paintings. Another work of art, the Snook, the Sack, a lot of his paintings, you're going to see a bright color palette, really bright colors. And you notice his figures, they're not painted with the colors like realistic, like skin colors. They're really bright colors. So in a way, every person in here kind of represents every person from every race because of the way he uses colors. There's also a fair amount of violence in a lot of his works of art. Here you see, it's kind of like you're trying to figure out what's going on. It looks like somebody's being stuffed in a sack. Maybe there's something happening with this figure on the side. It looks like two people are on either side of them. With Bob Thompson, it takes a while to kind of unpack what works of art are about, but you have to kind of remember, who is he? Where is he coming from? He's a Black man living during the civil rights era. There's a lot of things going on that has to impact what he's interested in kind of creating with his paintings. The next one, you can see, I actually put a little tiny picture of kind of a classic work of art from 1480 by Sandro Botticelli of Mary and baby Jesus. Sometimes it's called the Virgin Mary and the Babe. Sometimes it's Madonna, but you see that image in a lot of different works of art from really a long time ago, even up to today. And you can see how Bob Thompson in his painting, he took that kind of old traditional way of showing Mary and Jesus, who are important figures in the Christian religion, and he created them his own. This painting is called Blue Madonna. So you've got that going on in that corner. And then you can see, I hope you can see there are figures that are kind of, it looks like they're sort of coming toward Bob Thompson, toward that Blue Madonna a little bit, and maybe kneeling a little bit. So possibly worshiping. But if you notice amongst these trees that have lots of colors in them, there's figures back behind. And we can't quite tell what's going on, but we know that these figures are somehow connected to each other because you can see that it looks like they're talking to each other. There's also a figure of a woman kind of behind a tree. There's a man who seems to be coming from the top of the trees. And this is hard to see, but there's actually a figure on the side, a black silhouette of a man with a hat, and it looks like he's pointing. And you see that in a lot of Bob Thompson's works. And it's not clear what that means. Like, is that the artist kind of saying, hey, notice this? Is this somebody that is supposed to be a person who's maybe foreboding, you know, who's kind of talking about something kind of challenging, or I don't know. There's just a lot of questions about it. But you can see that Bob Thompson in this work of art, he was obviously inspired by religion. He's got these important figures in Christianity, art history. He's bringing in kind of really traditional things, relationships, because we have all these people kind of connected here, and then civil rights, which you may be looking at that and going, I'm not sure I really see civil rights in here. But one of the things about Bob Thompson is that it's not easy to always understand exactly what he means. And these trees that you see here, in some ways, they might be meant to represent just trees in the landscape in an outdoor place. But trees also can mean, especially in Christian imagery, they can also be a symbol for the cross. So related to the cross that Jesus died on, another important story in the Christian religion. They also can be a symbol for lynching, which was something that would have been happening at this time when Bob Thompson was painting, something that he, as a Black American, he would have been very aware of and very much was a part of it. Some people actually think maybe that figure coming down from the trees is actually a symbol of lynching. So when you think of all these things kind of put together, I'm going to go back to that kind of the question of why do people make art? Why do you think Bob Thompson made art? What do you think inspired him? And you're welcome to put things in the chat. Anger, yeah. Working through trauma. Absolutely. I mean, I also think creating change, sharing his own experiences and trauma, upset, sad. Yeah. Yeah. To bear witness for what was going on. Oh, these are all so great, you guys. Absolutely. I think all of those things are part of his artist. I think he's wanting to tell stories. I think he's really interested in reinterpreting and creating his own visual language. But I also think he's wanting to help make people notice what's going on. You know, help people notice, make people think, stop and think a little bit. And that's actually, I feel like that's at the heart of any kind of artist who's interested in social justice or social issues. They want to help people stop, think, and kind of re-examine. And that's why I'm so happy to have the folks from Maine Inside Out here today. And I'm actually just going to pass things over to this group, and they're going to talk about how they incorporate social justice and social change in everything that they do. So I will stop sharing. Oh, maybe I'll go one more so you can see. Or maybe not. I'll just stop sharing.
That was great, Chris.
Yeah.
I love that you told us some about that artwork, because I have been there to see it. I hope some of the students get to go visit it. And there were a lot of questions I had after. It was great to hear your descriptions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Daryl Sherbert Jr. and I am a facilitator with Maine Inside Out. My pronouns are he, him, and bro. I am so happy to come here and speak to you guys about what we do here at Maine Inside Out. We at Maine Inside Out here, our purpose is really to create a world where everybody matters and belongs. And there's three models or ways we do that. And the first model is what people will know us for is art for social change. We create theater and we create poetry. We create all sorts of artwork to sort of help people's minds get going about changes that could really make a difference for people who have been system impacted and who have been traumatized by the system through incarceration and in other effects. Then we have advocacy and support, which we help people. People in our community and people who are members of our collective. We try to provide for them. We try to help them to get housing, get fed, get whatever they need to keep moving and keep surviving, and even get to a place to where they're thriving and they can help others. And then we get to transformative justice, where we transform our relationships, we transform harm and how people have been hurt, and we turn it on its head, and we try to ask the questions of people: why do we hurt, and why did we hurt people through because we hurt, and all comes together to try to move people to tell their stories and bring them together so we can make a change in the world. I'll have my other associates introduce themselves now.
Hey, everybody, really happy to be here. My name is Noah. I use he, him, his pronouns. This is our first time doing a workshop in a webinar format where we can't see or hear you, but really want to be engaged in the chat. And thanks for being here today. And Chris, thanks for sharing about Bob Thompson's artwork. It's really incredible. And I'll just say I joined Maine Inside Out like 4 or 5 years ago. And I stay involved because of the community and love and support that we create for each other. We're using art to change our communities and change the world. But also we have really close bonds with each other. And a lot of that is because of art, because we sort of share ourselves to be seen and to be heard and to see and hear each other. And Stacy, I'll pass to you.
Thanks, Noah. Good afternoon, everyone. Excited to be here. My name is Stacy Perez. I am the Director of Advocacy and Support for Maine Inside Out. And I am also a part of the models team, which I do a lot of the work that Daryl was just sharing, and helping folks get housed and fed, and helping them navigate as they reintegrate after being incarcerated, or navigating courts, whatever comes along. And I joined Maine Inside Out in 2016 as a support for my eldest son. He is a MIO member and artist. And I've been here since. I stay connected because, as Noah said, of the love and community that we create and have for each other, and the way we care for each other. I also stay connected because we are the voices for those who feel they don't have one. And we also encourage them to feel that voice, to use that voice, and to advocate for themselves as they grow. But yeah, I feel like it's my life. So I love what I do. I love the people I work with, and I love being in spaces like this. So I appreciate y'all for having us today.
Wonder, when we do a Maine Inside Out workshop or meeting, or whenever we get together, we check in with each other, and would love to like hear from you all, including the folks who we can't see. And so I don't know if it's possible to write in the chat, but just your name, the pronouns that you use, and what makes you an artist is our check-in prompt.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I use she, her pronouns, and I've got a bunch of kids in here. Everyone say hi. Hi. And we cover all the pronouns here. We've got Corey, Ariana, Wes, Hannah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Chris, and Evan right now. We're in between classes, so we had some come in and some leave. So we keep doing this throughout the day and throughout the week.
Great, glad you're here, Erica. Well, the other thing we do in MIO workshops besides check-in is we play warm-ups and theater games to get ourselves going. And yeah, Daryl, Stacy, anything that y'all want to say about why we play theater games, or why we warm up in Maine Inside Out?
Well, theater games get you in the right energy. It gets you in your body. It gets you out of your head and into the show, and not into receiving what's going to happen, because a lot of these things are going to radically mess with your mind about some concepts that you thought before, that some things that you thought were true are not so true, and taking you into we're traveling to another world here, and the theater games kind of make your mind a little bit mushier, so we can a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for, malleable, so we can go to a different place, and we can get better in the discussion, and really take you to the place of being where the situation that we're taking you through theater. So theater games, good confusion and bad confusion. Good confusion is that we're trying to figure something out, and bad confusion is you're just lost and you don't know what's going on. But confusion is good on the whole. So let's start out with the theater game. Are we playing Zip Zap Zop still? Okay, Zip Zap Zop. Okay, the way Zip Zap Zop goes is somebody starts it off with zip, and you point in the direction of the person you're sending the zip to, and then that person's going to point at another person and say zap, and then that's going to go to the next person, and the next person is going to say zop, and that's going to close the circle, and then you're going to go back to saying zip, and it keeps on going. And if you mess up or you go out of order, you are out.
Don't forget a boing.
Okay. Oh yeah, and we also have a boing boing boing, where whenever somebody says a boing boing boing, everybody has to go a boing boing boing. All right.
So would it work for us to demo it? And Serena, Chris, would y'all do it with us? And then Jessica, in your classroom, if you all could play and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, and Desi's gonna come join me in here so that we're in the same space too. So yeah, we'll both play.
It's usually so much more fun in person because we're able to be active and make different movements with our bodies, but it's also fun on Zoom. We usually try to like speed it up and make it a contest, and then we face off at the end. So, but this is Zoom style, so I can start us off.
Go ahead.
Zip, Daryl.
Zap, Noah.
Zop, Chris.
Zip, Serena.
Zap, Desiree. I do that. Zap, Stacy.
Zip, Noah.
Zap, Stacy.
Zap, Chris.
Zip, Daryl.
Zap, Stacy.
A boing boing.
A
boing,
Oh, boing, boing.
A boing boing boing.
Oh, boing.
And I'll pass to Noah.
Is it a zip, zap, or a zop?
No, like Noah, like we're trying to like I think that's the end of the demo.
Oh, end of the demo. Thank you. I get really competitive in the theater game. So I'm like, let's keep it going.
He's the king of theater games, and he loves to show off. We can't take him anywhere really. Trying to get excited about some theater games. So this is the monster we've created. Here we go.
I'm in it for the games, y'all. Jessica, in class, I hope that gives you someone to work with. Would love for y'all to take like 5, 6, 7 minutes to play around. You can unmute if you want so we can hear you. Whatever you choose. And good luck. Let us know if you have any questions.
Do you guys have other theater games you play? I'm just curious because I have played a few, but I'm just curious what other ones you do.
We have things like the opposite of Jackson, where we sort of really mess with your mind and we get in your head and we get you to, it's sort of like Simon Says, only it's like doing the opposites, and it's a lot of fun. It's also really, really confusing, depending on, and really, really manipulative depending on who's guiding the workshop, the game.
Mhm.
It can be fun for the administrator as well as the people playing. So
Mhm.
it's an sure. And then we have gibberish rap, which is a lot of fun.
That's fun.
Like it gives you a lot of bit more courage to try to go out there and just, like, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect, to just throw something out there, which is huge in art creation of any kind. Is just being able to throw something out there and play with it.
Cool.
We do Rhythm Detective, we do Soul Train, we do What Are You Doing, Samurai, Ninja, some really active games that just really loosen people up and help everyone get comfortable and be in their skin and be in the space together. It's really helpful.
That's cool.
So I guess just by way of intro, this was a film that we created in the summer and fall of 2019. Prior to the COVID pandemic, the rhythm of our year was that we would create a new original play, sort of late summer, early fall, debut it in November, and then we would tour it throughout the rest of the year at different schools and colleges, community events. So this was while we were creating a play called Exposed. Stacy's actually rocking the Exposed sweatshirt that we created. When making that play. The play was created by 25 to 30 artists from Biddeford, Lewiston, Portland, and Waterville over the course of 2 months or so. And this is a video that sort of describes a little bit about what was going on in Maine Inside Out at the time we were creating the play, and sort of gives you a look into our creative process and also about our community. So we'll watch the film, we'll have some prompts and some time for discussion.
This is my first experience being out of incarceration with Maine Inside Out. So I'm excited to see where this will take me.
So what we're gonna do is we gave everybody a piece of paper. They're gonna write down the #1 issue that has been bothering them this year. And we're gonna write that down and jot it all down on the notes first, and that'll be like, you're gonna use that as an outline into the performance.
Yeah, see it?
All right, profiling. Law enforcement.
Thinking about what people are doing on the outs while I was in.
A single parent living in poverty.
What did you say, violence?
Yeah.
And I said, there's a guy with a gun, like a real gun? He goes, yes, he's shooting at people.
And then all of a sudden I just see this guy go, pow. You know, I'm like, wow. I hid in a bush. I didn't come out for like almost an hour. You know, just to see ambulance and stuff, and they were picking them up. Turned out later on they were friends of mine, and yeah, they didn't make it.
All right, this isn't really a big deal to a lot of people, but it's just a big deal to me. Family grudges and arguments.
Mental illness is my biggest issue.
My problem would be housing.
My friends were in the same situation. They were just as homeless as I was, so like didn't really work out that way. So one night there was nowhere for me to go. Came here, saw this nice rock. It's comfy. It's comfy. You know, it's firm. It is. It's good for your back.
To feel left behind, you know, like you're stuck in purgatory and you're just invisible to everybody. I think that's been the biggest issue.
My biggest problem was seeing people not know how to live once they get out of the system and not knowing how to keep up with the times because they've been in for so long.
I just got out yesterday, and the minute I got out, I hit up Kiara, and she's the one that just brought me here. Made sure I was involved because she knew all the stuff that I'd just been through in the past. Struggle getting back into the community. Just now when I was in there with all those people, I could just feel like my heart racing, and like I didn't know if I was standing right. I didn't know what was going on because I'm not used to being around all those people.
Don't mind these yawns.
Children that grow up in this community, that 50% of the people are going to jail. So it's not nature. It's actually what's around them. Are they being targeted? What's the resources they have?
Walk to the middle if you or someone in your immediate family struggles with a mental illness of some sort.
Last night, Maine Inside Out Lewiston and everybody else who showed up were really powerful to let the system know that it is not working, and you all have the answers, and the answers are rooted in each of your communities.
Of somebody of their stature, you know, listening to us and hearing what we have to say. That blew my mind.
What are your suggestions for making changes in the system? If you think something should be different, we want you to tell us what they are. Who would like to get the ball rolling?
I'm Matthew. When I was 12 years old, I was detained in Long Creek Youth Development Center for the first time, you know. 12 years old, you're going into what most of us refer to as a youth prison. 95% of our population in Long Creek had mental health issues in one way or another. You know, like me, I have ADHD, I have anger issues, I've been diagnosed bipolar, I've been diagnosed with, you name it, I've probably been diagnosed with it. We want to go out there and we want to prevent this. We want to provide them with the support they need early on, so later in their life, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, they still have these skills and they stay out of the system and they can develop their life and pass these skills down to the other youth.
It was really good seeing Matt stand up and talk. You know, you did really well. It surprised me because you're always so quiet, and it was really, really well spoken. And it's like proud moments over there.
That speech, dude. You killed it, man, and I'm really impressed about it. You know, and I'm proud of everybody for, you know, sharing yesterday and.
What right up?
Weren't you in the news or something?
Yeah, I got put in the Sun Journal. I'm not familiar with all these terms. My first time for being in the Sun Journal for actually something that I'm proud of.
Hi, I'm Paige. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Randy. I grew up in poverty. My mother was pregnant at 15, 17, 19, and 21. She dropped out in 8th grade. My dad got his GED at Thomason State Prison. People are incarcerated in Maine. Very high instances of mental health, substance abuse, poverty, neglect, trauma, all those combinations. And so I think it's my duty as the Chief Corrections Officer in the state of Maine to change the way we do business, and that's why I'm here.
Well, it feels like I made it a long way. It feels like I came
I came a far way to do this. Just to get the chance to talk to somebody that has control of it, control of what happened to me and what happened to others. It just feels great.
We got a lot of people thinking, a lot of very powerful people thinking.
Our losses are the ones that make us stronger, and that's why we fight together every day to do this work, because like we've all had loss and we all had pain, but at least we have each other to get through it.
So why am I here? Is it because I'm a bad kid? Or is there more to the story? Could my folks in my community have done something to help me? Most of us came from a broken home. All of us have problems. All of us need help. The majority of us did not receive it. Youth incarceration actually harms youth, does not help them.
Before we go out and start a new play, you know, we take our losses. We have lost quite a few this past year, actually.
You try laying in a cold cell, can't even close my eyes to pray. Trust gone, anger fills my veins every night as I lay. Lost count of the sleepless nights, not knowing if they're okay. Broken record repeated, as if you expected it to play. Charged criminal, skip. Let my mother go, skip, skip. Let my father go, skip. Charged criminal, skip. The red and blue lights don't know. One verse to Department of Corrections. Let my family go, let my family go, let my family go.
And I'm here today to celebrate the life and death of Rune. And I mean too, because incarcerating anybody, locking anybody in a cage just doesn't work. Doesn't matter how you look at it. It's non-beneficial. And that's what we're fighting against. Because amongst this crazy world, apparently there's only a select few that understand cages don't work for humans. That's all I got.
It's been a long year, and it's just that wave again, like I've been saying, and then it's just, I don't know, I'm strucken by a lot of things, and to be honest, it's like a numbing feeling over time, you know?
And that's without him trying, a personality that's satisfying while the gates of struggles were horrifying. Accomplishments that were mesmerizing, this must be a human bison. A loving father from pain, a loving son from the same.
Our young community is the future to our universe. The young community is what's gonna keep the human race going.
We in there.
Come on, everybody.
In there like swim.
We missing some hands, y'all know that, right?
Nah, I see missing color, a lot of missing color hands.
1, 2, 3.
Our prompt for y'all is gonna be today, what struggles do you face in your community, and what would you like to change about it? Like, what would you like to change in your community? If you guys would like, I could post that in the chat, just so you guys have it, and then, and then you guys can respond. And she's saying she would like to change everyone, have food safety, love, access to healthcare and housing. This is, I'd like to see a garden space in my neighborhood that everyone could use growing food. Yes. Desiree, I'd like a community member, I would like community members to have food, shelter, healthcare, access to mental health support. Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest ones as well, Desiree, is the mental health. Yeah, it has, I think, been one of the hardest things for me, is talking people down in the middle of the night, being present when they're having attacks of any sort, mental trauma, any of it, showing up at the hospitals, all of it. It's really one that I see a lot here in Maine. They just said, it doesn't matter your color, body size, or type. We're all equal in blood and species. We all deserve to be loved for who we are, not for our sexuality, gender, race, or body type. She sees that a lot lately. Yes. I think that's one of the greatest things I love so much about Maine Inside Out. The Maine Inside Out community is that it doesn't matter who you are, when you show up, you're family. Serena, I wish everyone had the love and support I had in my family. I want that for everyone. I just, before everyone takes off, just want to give you guys the chance to ask any questions you might have.
Hey, Serena.
Hey.
I'm trying to type for a lot of students, had some thoughts.
Oh, nice.
I'm not that fast at typing. Some of them I offered to talk and some people didn't want to come up. So, but yeah, this has been awesome and really moving. Just wanted to say, so we're working on the prompts here for sure.
Yeah, I see you typed in people's lack of awareness of what is really going on and happening around them. Erica says work to minimize the stigma of addiction. That's a good one. We haven't mentioned that one. Thanks, Erica.
I've got kids here till 1:40 and then some kids stay until 2. So
cool.
We're still good.
This is a good time too to just say a little about the Bob Thompson exhibit. I'd love it if everybody, if you have an opportunity to come see that exhibit. It's up through January 9th and the museum is open. It's free to all. We're open Tuesday through Sunday. Most of the days it's 10 to 5, but on Thursdays we're actually open till 9 p.m. at night. And on Saturdays it's 10 to 5, Sundays it's noon to 5. So please do think about coming to the museum to see that exhibit. And we do have a couple virtual programs. We've got one coming up tomorrow night. The Brooklyn Museum of Art does this really amazing alternative sentencing program in the New York City area. So they're going to be talking about that. And then also from Maine Inside Out, Joe Jackson and Bashir are going to be talking about the things that they do in terms of social justice. So that's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock and you just register on our website. And then next week we've got one that's kind of more art history-ish. It's about like Titian, which is another really amazing artist. There's a great exhibit at the Gardner right now in Boston. And so the topic is going to be about Titian, Thompson, and myth making. And so that's on Monday, October 25th. So, and then we actually have a poetry workshop coming up on Saturday, November 13th. One of the professors here is going to lead us through an ekphrastic poetry prompt in the gallery space. So that should be really fun. So if you don't see the registration on our website now for that November 13th one, it'll be up there soon, but all the others are right there and you just pre-register and it's just a virtual program. So please feel free to join.
Thanks, Chris. And Jessica said she has a student who'd like to say something. It sounds like.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
I think a big problem nowadays is with acceptance, especially when people come out like who they are. Because honestly, I've seen a lot where people don't really get accepted for who they are, like whether it's sexuality or body type or race or anything else like that. Kind of like what was said before. I just see that some people have a hard time accepting who their child is or who their family member is, and they just start focusing on what they want to be rather than who that person is to them, even before they came out to them. Because I feel like that person's still the same, whether or not they came out to you or not. But people just like to focus on what they want to be, and they don't see the bigger picture here. Yeah, because people get trusted for stuff like that. And a lot of people take advantage of that and they just ignore their children or their family members because it's not something they were brought up with. And I think that's awful.
That's a huge thing for your generation.
It is, it really is.
You want to say thank you what you thought of the movie for them?
What I thought for the movie?
Yeah, you can say thank you to them.
Yeah, I really do appreciate people love to bring awareness to things that most people wouldn't really think of bringing awareness to. So I appreciate what you guys have done for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Can I ask the Maine Inside Out folks a question? So one of the things I'm so intrigued by always, and it's part of this program, and actually it's partly because I think it's fascinating, is what it is you do in your job and what you love about what you do for work. Because I think students out there don't realize, you know, what there is like nonprofits or what you do for work. So I'd love to kind of hear, you guys said your titles, but what is the thing you do every day that you love, maybe?
Ladies first. Chivalry is not dead.
Thanks, Daryl. That's one of the things I love. Being in space with my colleagues. They're not only my colleagues, they are my friends, and we really care for each other, and we create a space where we can come in and share, you know, what's going on for us and be supported and still show up for work. I love that we are actively being the change that we want to see by creating ways for folks who are system impacted to still be able to live and function in society, where in other places they're unable. And I really enjoy working with our youth and just like walking them through whatever's happening for them. As I said before, my eldest son is who connected me with Maine Inside Out, and as a formerly incarcerated youth and adult, we didn't have programs like Maine Inside Out when I was going through it. And so when I seen the community that it built, I just like immediately fell in love and wanted to be a part of. And so, you know, continuing to build on what's already in place and create more ways and resources for our young people to get what they need so that they don't keep landing themselves in the system that's designed for their failure, basically. But yeah, like the fun games, being able to come in space and be silly and open up and talk about hard things in a way that is safe and be able to share them with the community to raise awareness, and also, you know, just for the support. The support is absolutely amazing. And it's one of the biggest things that I never really had, like a community. I was always like my solo, always by myself, was really nervous about making friends, even as an adult. And so being in this space has allowed me to really open up and be a better person. And it helped me come out of poverty. It helped me, you know, I've been with Maine Inside Out since 2016, became an employee in 2018. And so like, it's just something that I would never walk away from. And with that, I will pass to Noah or Daryl.
I discovered Maine Inside Out the same year that Stacy got hired in 2018. I was going through a rough time in my life, but I knew the work of Maine Inside Out is something that had to be done. I knew that it was really important work. I knew that sharing our stories and sharing our pain over what the system has done, and getting the word out there, and also facilitating each other and lifting each other up and making like being better together, lifting each other up and making things happen. And that was huge. And my parents worked as counselors in the system, and I know the work it takes to get out and stay out and to try to make things happen, to make sure that you don't go back, and then in that we rise up together and we tell the story so we can make the system different for people that come after us. And with that, I'll pass to Noah.
Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, I love a lot of things about Maine Inside Out and the work that I've been able to do here, which has been really spread out across the organization. But the two things I would highlight, which have already been touched on, but just our work is really just based in relationships. That's true of the artwork that we create. That's true of the community support work that we do. We're really about forming like mutual and authentic relationships with each other. Like Stacy said, like really modeling and being the change that we want to see in community. The other thing that I've really loved is, being an event-based organization. And so doing performances, doing workshops like this, doing events, and being able to see like how when a group like Maine Inside Out, or our partners come in with energy and love for each other and love for the community, it can really transform a space and transform a community and really start a conversation and be one of those actions that's moving community change forward. So you saw in the film some footage from a block party that we threw in Lewiston and Kennedy Park in the summer of 2019. And there had been a lot of violence that summer in the park, and we came in, we did a performance, we had a barbecue, we brought 400 people together from the community in the park, and really I think changed this vibe of danger to one of safety and love there. And so I've seen that happen a lot when we come and share art with each other.
Well, thank you all for answering that question. Such great work that you do. So I thought, I don't know, do you guys have another activity, or could we also see if there's any other questions for you all? Oh, nice. Stacy said it's allowed me space to heal from trauma. Yeah. I think you all transformed this space, just the Zoom space, by the way, to one of like feeling safe, I think, and supported. So thank you.
The only thing I just wanted to add, like, I really encourage people to use the materials in the art kit to just kind of express some of these ideas that you have. You've got, colored pencils and journals and some mat board and things like that that you can use to kind of share your thoughts and feelings in either in words or in a visual way. So enjoy.
So I think we'll probably wrap up. This has been really wonderful. Thank you so much to Maine Inside Out. And now I want to have a party with you guys too. Can you guys come to Waterville and do a block party? Yeah, me too.
We do have members in Waterville, so it may happen, it may not. The world may never know. Like how many right. It's like a Tootsie Pop or something. It's like one of those things. So
like a mystery.
Yeah, that's an enigma, like a whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, Jessica says Waterville makes memories. There's really a wonderful block party actually near here that happens, a barbecue, but because of COVID, it hasn't happened in a little while. So maybe next year. I hope you all visit. Come make art with us sometime. That would be great.
You guys were wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. And
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, and Chris, thank you for organizing. All right, and I'll look forward to, I'll send you all emails with photos and other stuff from the classroom.